Rob, are you here from Canal Commons?
No, nobody's on yet.
Okay.
No, Angela's sending the link to him right now.
Yeah, he wrote last night to Doug. I see what now why. Joe, so you'll be there tomorrow or Thursday, you said?
Joe's still not at his desk.
All right.
Here he comes.
There he is.
Joe,
Sorry, what's that?
you're gonna be there Thursday?
Yeah, I'm gonna be there Thursday. Yeah.
And can you get the your nominations in this morning if you're possible?
Yeah, just send them over to me, Joe, if you're like, and you can send them an email this morning or even while we're sitting here.
Yep.
And then
Thank you. So I think you've seen the just to kill a little time, Woodchuck Hill, Northwood Flex, and Benderson with the subdivision and that building that they're going to demolish. That'll be a huge improvement, by the way. And the pharma, the proposed cannabis dispensary.
Whatever happened to those 2 apartment buildings that were supposed to go on Kravac?
They said they're still live. I think Rossi's working with them a little bit. They're just one building, though, I believe.
I thought there was 2. There was one going above.
Oh, the face. Oh,
Wilson Jewelers,
Wilson
and then the
Jewelers
back one.
Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, no, there's nothing new on that one, but I've been told that they're going to pursue the mixed use. They had asked last summer for to reapproval, which we gave them.
Yeah, and then we never saw anything after that.
Yeah, I think they're buying time for the stoplight or something. I don't know.
Into trying Rob's.
Anybody coming on?
Oh,
Jamie, as long as we got a minute or two, question I have is it was one of those, and I'm taking those photographs. I noticed, and this is for Nathan too, that Lala Lou restaurant has not built out the patio, and
yes,
that was
unfortunately,
a key component. What's our recourse to have them finish it? Because it looks,
if they've abandoned that, that's up to them. Their approval is only good for so long, so it will go away.
okay. Rob Sealy, did you send it? Rob just texted me and said, can you send him the?
Yeah, he should get it. You might want to tell him it's from Angela, because I don't think he knows who I am, but he should have it now.
Okay, I got it. I'll tell him.
Oh, wait a minute. Now it's coming back. Let me see what was wrong with his email address. Okay, let's see.
Let me see here. I might be able to do it myself here. I'm forwarding it to him.
You have Vincent Ryan on.
Are you trying to?
Yeah,
Angela,
I
just sent it.
sent it successfully, so he should
Okay,
have
me too.
it now.
Yeah, we just sent it, Rob, a couple different ways. So I sent
from Angela. Okay, yep, got it. CNS link.
Okay, can you just jump on? We're ready for you.
You want us now? Okay, yep. Well, very thanks, Peter.
Yep. All set. Thank you, guys. Nathan, you have a better memory, Doug. Or anybody else want to chime in? What was recall the issues? This is an update on that third building that the architect sent to us. I know we were looking for samples, and what else were we looking for in terms of moving this forward?
Along Sealy Drive, so the back
Yeah.
of the building isn't ignored. I think she was playing with some of the window proportions along the front, materials, lighting.
Yeah, I remember the materials, the samples, the lighting in the back. I couldn't recall what else was.
I think we asked her to kind of look at she had kind of faceted that back corner to.
Yeah, the one that had a little
kind of fell
zigzag in
off.
it.
See if I can find any of my other notes.
Are they on, Angela?
Just Vincent is on.
Thank you for setting those out.
Yeah, no, not a problem.
Morning.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
So Joe,
So we have a little bit of time. Our second group is coming on right away, so we're okay.
okay.
Nathan was refreshing our memory relative to the treatment and the samples, the treatment of the back, the Sealy Drive.
Okay.
So you're going to present this, or you're the
Yeah, do you
the
want
architect?
Yeah, Joe, can you share your screen?
Jill, are you gonna present? Rob, is somebody from your
Oh,
end? gonna
sorry.
present?
Sorry,
Yeah,
I will.
Okay, so.
Thank you.
My apologies.
That's all right. We got time.
My video didn't want to come on, my sound didn't want to come on.
That's all right. Take your time. Gather yourself.
I'm all set.
All right. So let's pick up where we left off and some of the issues that we were requesting.
Absolutely. So do you have the files, or do you want me to pull up the
I think
drawings?
it's a little better for you if you're going to talk through them.
Sure, absolutely. Give me just a second.
Hey, Grazi.
Morning.
I know that we had some open site items. Rob, do you have the ability to go over those right now, and then I can do the building, or do you want me to do the building first?
Why don't you go first, because you have a hard out at 2:45, I think.
Yes, okay.
Start with that, we can make sure we get through that stuff.
And now I can't get my files to open. So today's been an awesome day. I'm
It's all
so
right. Just
sorry.
relax. We're patient. Rob, could you do the site if she's
Yeah. Joanne's saying that it's telling her she needs a passcode. Does anybody else need a passcode?
No,
All right. Let's see here.
It's telling you need a passcode to share your screen.
No, it's to join the meeting, which I didn't.
You're in the meeting, so you should just be.
no,
able to-
Joanne was saying that she can't get in without the passcode.
I can send her the link.
there you go.
Okay, you got it. All right.
Perfect.
So I submitted a summary of responses to the comments. I can just kind of walk through them. So we've addressed each of the comments. There was a question about the monitoring well, so that'll remain. We'll just lower
Can you
it.
turn, I can't hear you as well as I'd like. Rob, could
Oh.
you just turn that up a little bit, please?
Let me put my mic on.
Thank you.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. You said you're gonna send Joanne the link?
Yeah, I just sent it to her.
Okay. Yeah, she's in trouble. Okay. So there was a question about the monitoring well, so that's gonna remain, and we'll just put and put a new cap on it. We asked for sidewalks and crosswalks at the parking lot, and then a crosswalk over to the development. And we have traffic signs, so there's a pedestrian crossing signs at the crosswalk, and then there's signs in advance of the crosswalk, and then there's signs right at the crosswalk. And here and here. So there's two in the middle at the center line, sign on each edge, and then a warning sign. So that's in accordance with GMT and standards. That was it over there. And then down to the building, we added a bike rack here. We added the sidewalk on Sealy Drive. We were able to push the building back a little bit, so we've got space. And we added 2 ADA spaces at the new building. And then the ramp spaces up. The building is, I think, a little bit bigger than it was previously. So we've moved this out a little bit to get a little more space. And the parking. So we've got 30 spaces in the new parking lot. And then we had 4 additional.
And is that conforms that 1 per 150?
Yep. So we need 34 spaces for the new building.
Okay.
So we're right at our number.
Was there an issue, Jamie, or somebody, Robert, maybe you pointed this out about relative to what was on the original site plan?
I don't think so.
I think it was, I just thought it was, 1 or 2 spaces that needed to correlate with the original site plan. I could be mistaken.
Yeah, Mark Parrish had said that there was a discrepancy of a couple of spaces.
Well, whatever it is, just make sure it conforms to.
Yeah, that's correct.
What was the question that we were never short parking?
I think Mark said that the resolution said, I forget the number, it said like 156 and it was actually 155. It was like giving us one more space.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure it tied together.
Some sort of discrepancy in there. I don't remember the specifics.
Mark.
Hello,
Hi, Mark.
I've been here. Sorry.
Right, Mark, wasn't it like off of space or something for the resolution?
Yeah, it was a few spaces, I think, but yeah, there was just the wording of the resolution didn't line up with the numbers on the plans.
Mhm. But that's resolved.
Jamie, what's the best way to handle that then?
When we do the resolution, we'll just kind of set the right baseline. That's
Those
Okay.
are the new numbers now, right?
Does anybody, Nathan, any other board members want to comment on?
Site-wise, yeah, site-wise, I think that's good. I think we addressed those issues. Did I hear you say, Rob, that the building grew in size?
Yeah, I think, Jamie, I don't remember what the number was originally, but now we're at 5,008 square feet.
It's 200, it was about 200 square feet is the difference.
So does that equate to one parking spot?
Yeah.
Doug or
That
Kathy,
way?
anybody else? Joe?
Plantings, can you just flash the planting plan?
Yeah.
Peter, from a site plan point of view, my only comment had to do with safe pedestrian access from the parking area, and that looks like that's been addressed, so thank you.
Yeah, he had talked about the signs. I don't know if you could hear Rob's comments about the signage and I don't know if they're pavers or what it is, but to designate that, it looks like they've addressed it in a very well.
Here's the planting, so
Okay, so there are no other issues on the site? You want to move to the building?
Joe, do
I'm
you want
ready.
to share or do you want-
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay, I'll stop share. Okay, good.
Okay.
My apologies. So we had comments on the back side of the, well, on the road side of the building regarding the visual, like the articulating of that facade and giving it some visual interest. And so the plan is to use a Nichiha tough panel in these spaces with some articulation. And I can show you a couple of exterior elevations and views of it. So from the back, this is the view from the intersection or the entry to the parking area, and then views from the street itself. And those were our big comments. Still looking to use the same brick that's already on site, looking to use the same metals that are on site, and the only new introduction would be the Nichiha tough panel. And those would sit in these kind of inset pieces.
Would there be some other landscaping materials,
Absolutely, there would be landscaping, obviously, based on the planting plan, there would be landscaping materials throughout this area, and there would be trees and all of the other stuff. I just don't have the rendering capabilities
fine.
to include those. So yes, this would be pretty heavily. This does reflect the contours, but it does not reflect the it reflects the topography. It doesn't reflect the planting plan.
Okay.
I just didn't have the rendering capabilities to do it at this point in time. I had not scheduled my time with my person who does my renderings well. So,
No, that's okay.
Is there building lighting along that facade?
there is only the emergency lighting at the exit doors, but otherwise, there's vertical light fixtures, the decorative ones at these two pilasters here, and that's where it stops.
I would recommend continuing that along the back, just so that, because that faces Sealy on there, I
Okay.
don't want it to be forgotten, especially when it gets dark at 4 o'clock in the afternoon in December, is just to light that back facade and
Okay.
treat the entire building, because it really does have 4 fronts, if you want to call it that.
Right.
Treat them all the same instead of having that back just kind of turn its back, I guess, to Sealy
Okay.
or Sealy Drive. So just have a couple of the same fixtures along in the rhythm along the back facade
Okay.
there.
Okay, I can do
That'll
that.
help just activate that facade.
Is-
I appreciate
the,
all the other changes that you've made.
When you say the light, is there uplighting or is it just,
They're like a vertical decorative fixture.
Okay.
I can go and grab those for you,
no,
but
no, that's fine. It looks great. I really like the building. I personally, and I like the lines.
I think the interior space is going to be interesting. I'm quite frankly, I'm more interested in the way that that space reads than the other, but yes, I agree with you. It's I think it'll be a great use of the space.
Yeah, we're still talking two tenants that may be addressed to Grazi.
Two, potentially three. Right now they have one signed that's taking the majority of the portion to the north. And then well, I can show you on plan. So right now this tenant area 1 has been assigned. This tenant area 2 and potentially 3 has not been assigned, but this door will be the entrance for both of them, and this door will be the exit for both of them.
Any other questions?
Well, we brought up signage. Is there gonna be any signage that's pointed out towards Sealy? It seemed from the renderings that it was all facing internal and towards Bridge Street. Is there anything intended on the backside of the building?
I haven't heard any requests or requirements from the first tenant, but I would say that more than likely one of the tenants will want something, but I didn't think we were going for signage permits. We can assign signage areas if you want me to on that backside, but I'm not sure what the calculations would look like on a backside of the building. Do you guys have a secondary sign face calculation?
Well,
No, it's
allow it, but
it's not allowed.
Okay, well then.
It'd have to be, it's not allowed. Having said that, it would need to be, you can request a variance.
Okay, well then
Which
I
in this
guess,
case, the precedent's been set. We're amenable, but you have to look at your overall square footage.
okay, all right.
And that can be done after approval. I guess, Nathan, do you have what do we need to move this along?
I think we're good right now.
I'll make the lighting changes and send them back this afternoon so that you can have them in your possession.
Is this something?
One other thing.
If they do that, can we put them on Thursday night?
No, I think we have other issues we've got to address as part of the site, but we can't add them Thursday because we've already set the agenda for that one.
All right. Grazi, are you still on?
Yeah, I'm just, we were hoping to get at least a permit for, the foundation.
Well, that's a possibility. Nathan, what's your take on a foundation permit that handled administratively with this level of plans?
I guess I kind of go back and maybe, Jamie can weigh in and we can talk about this, Peter, but the clean hands part of it. Grazi, can you talk to us about how ski company is being addressed, how the concrete curbs are being addressed, how all the other site issues, because this is all part of the same bigger picture?
Well, I can answer the one. They have addressed the concrete curbing in a letter, an agreement. Jamie can comment on that.
Right. What other issues? Again, that was a mistake on the contractor. That's all being addressed. It won't be till spring, obviously, but that will be taken care of. That was part of the plans. We are adhering to the plans.
Okay. And then ski company, the window signage.
I rented them the building. If they're in violation, then I need to get something in writing from you guys saying you're in violation. I'll present it to them. I can't. I don't know how I enforce the town rule other than notifying them they're in violation. Just, and again, the last time we had this meeting with their signage or whatever you want to call it, their advertising, it was still up in the air. I don't, it's still a cloud to me. I don't understand if they disagree, or that's for their attorneys to work out.
I guess we'll have to talk to Doug and see if they have been cited, if notification's been given to them on that one.
Right, because I'm sure they'll put up a fight to that. If they claim it's not signage, so.
Well, Jamie, are we? The clean hands, are we okay to move the foundation permit, or is that something we should be holding off on?
Not my call.
Well, as of today, I'm comfortable moving along, but I'll poll the rest of the board. I hate to hold this up, but the next meeting's not until January. So we're talking about a full month.
Well, the foundation permit is going to be an at your own risk situation anyway, because there's no site plan approval.
That's how we've always done it. So.
Oh, sure. No, I get that.
Right.
So well, let me just.
So I guess
Nathan, are you okay moving forward?
I mean, with those board members that are here, how do we feel? I mean, I'd like to have this formally on the agenda and get it in there. Get the updates to the building made and submitted and do it appropriately. But if we want to put a foundation permit forward, are there any objections?
I have no objection.
No objection, Kathy?
No, I say go ahead with the foundation.
Okay, Joe?
I'm good.
I'm good with it. Doug?
I'm also good with it, but I just wanted to quickly comment on the window signage discussion, because my understanding was that the issue wasn't so much about signage. It was more that it was a feature of the building that should have been part of a site plan approval that had been previously presented to the board. I mean, the advertising component of the signage, I think, is really where the objection started. But then it was really a discussion about, this is a feature of the facade and the appearance of the building. It's not just about the tenant. It's really about the site plan approval. And I just want to make sure that's not lost, because this is something that in the future, the board, the board, I think, will probably review it favorably, but it needs to be something that's captured in an approval site plan.
Doug, you hit the nail on the head. That's exactly right. But let me just let's give that a little more time. So Grazi, you have a go ahead. Angela, would you tell Doug that we've approved to proceed at their own risk on the foundation?
I'd like to, and I'm sorry, I want to go back to one more thing, because I know it's something that had caught up the other presenter from the last time we were there. And I want to make sure that this is not something that comes up in conversations going forward, because I want to make sure it's resolved. And that is the rooftop units and the rooftop screening. On those units, I specifically included these views so that you can see the RTUs on this building have been modeled to size, so they are not visible. And this is from CLE Drive. So I just want to be sure that in the event that they are visible, there is screening specified, but at this point in time, none of them are visible given the grade change and the location of those units on the building. So if I want to make sure that that's at least covered and discussed so that we don't have to come back to it later.
Okay.
Is that acceptable?
Don't
yes,
forget,
but you're going to have one final. We're just going to approve the to proceed at your own risk, the foundation, so that Grazi can start his foundation, and then you'll be back in the first meeting in January to cover any of those fine details.
Understood and appreciated. I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't a concern at this point in time, given.
Well, can I add one thing to that? And that is that just don't forget
Sure.
that Erie Boulevard is an elevated position from a vantage point along the canalway. So you're up high, you're up elevated, and the view shed from that angle needs to be considered too.
I will run those renderings as well.
Thank you. Good point, Doug.
Can you just do me a favor, just clarify my own risk? What is the risk? If you don't approve the color of the brick or the metal or the small details on the building, is that the risk?
It's just subject to final site plan approval, really, at this
Yeah.
point. So it's like, it's not finally approved. So again, you know, if there's-
Partial approval, I guess, is for the lack of a better.
usually there's not much risk with respect to foundation because that doesn't have a lot to do with the details.
Okay, so it's about the details of the building.
Yes,
Right.
Okay,
But
that's just getting clarified. Okay.
but we just polled the board and they're comfortable with what all that you've done and the progress we've made, and we don't envision any problems, but it's a kind of a legal thing that Jamie
Gotcha.
feels. Okay.
She's a lawyer.
Yes, she is. She's a good lawyer as well.
Okay.
Congratulations, Shazi.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Nathan, do you have anything else? I don't have anything on this project, and then we're waiting.
Can we put the site plan back up again? You touched on the issue of the curbs. I think the site plan still says concrete, and I don't know what it says for the ones across the road.
Well, we just approved we
I
just,
don't know who's got that,
this isn't as Jamie said, this isn't a final site plan approval. This is just the foundation.
I think Mark's looking to see
Right.
what the material is, what the curbing indication is for the lot across the street. I think Rob actually signed off. He was
yeah,
the
it looks
one that
like
had
it.
all the drawings
All right,
up.
well, when you guys get to the final here, because it did label the on-site curbing, I saw concrete.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so that'll
you're
need to
looking
be-
for
All
the
the-
clarification on the curbing.
Yeah, the proposed, all the proposed will be concrete.
Sorry.
There may be actually a label showing that that's existing today that has to come out. So that's all, but we'll make sure, Mark.
All the proposed will be, you said concrete.
I
assume you
mean,
meant
all
granite.
proposed will be granite. The existing that is now concrete is probably labeled as such because it's coming out. But we'll make sure that the labels are correct.
Thanks, Joanne.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we will not be on the meeting for Thursday. Therefore, we will have to make a new submission for any of these minor modifications just talked about with the lighting and or any labels on the drawing.
Yeah, any
What-
signage, but it
when-
looks like
Make a
Yeah.
final submission and we'll get you on for the first meeting and get it all buttoned up.
And what submission date are you requesting for this meeting coming up?
That would be, I don't have that date on. So the first. Be the 21st.
So December 21st revised drawings. Okay,
Joanne, thank you.
you're welcome. Thanks, everyone.
Thank
All
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Raji, thanks.
Oh, thank you. Bye-bye.
Everyone,
So Leif is currently working with TTM. Has anybody else showed up? It's 8:33. Do we have anybody else on, Angela?
Just Vincent. Vincent Ryan.
Hi, here for Ethan Allen.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Perfect timing.
Thank you. Ray, the architect, will be on in a second, but I was gonna share the screen real quick. The purpose of the meeting was we wanted to get an idea of steps going forward for amendment to the architecture that we had. They are interested in starting, I believe, demo or construction in some regard. So they want to get these things taken care of.
I got a question about before he joins us. Did the clock go away, or I just didn't see it in the rendering?
Guys, I'm here.
Oh, he's here now. He can answer that question.
Can you hear me, Peter?
Yeah, I got you.
Sorry about that. I was having trouble logging in on my side of my computer.
Right.
So
No, that's fine.
Yes, the clock tower went away, and this is the latest from Rolex. Rolex went through it like any different, was gonna say manufacturer. I'm sorry, a merchandiser, not manufacturer, but and they had a brand new prototype, and this is the latest and greatest. So they don't do the clock tower anymore. So they went away from that. That was the old proto. So now they have this different look. And as you can see, the window on the east elevation, that's kind of what is their interpretation of the clock, if you will, Peter.
Yep.
So that's how they're getting the face dial of the clock. It might be because, the next generation doesn't read a dialed clock anymore. So we kind of have to make it iconic, if you will.
No, I just noticed it right off when.
Yeah. So and that question, which was during the approval process, as you know, was to make it an actual clock, which they were okay with doing, but they totally got rid of the clock as well. So now that face is their new icon, if you will.
Okay. You want to?
It also brought it down quite a bit from the tower. So before we were talking about height and things of that nature, and you can see the overall height of the building is much lower. There's not really, the footprint itself, Peter, is exactly the same. So it's just a matter of taking the building elements and having different finishes on them, and how it was looking from Rolex and their latest and greatest. So there's really not many changes, and there's no changes at all. Vince, correct me if I'm wrong from the site perspective.
No changes to the site, correct?
All right. So we've got
changes.
Yeah. This is Jamie. Sorry, my face isn't there because my dog's being pestery.
Hey, Jamie.
So the name of the store is Reed's, but you want a Rolex signage?
Yes, and you could see the Reed's Jewelers as you enter the parking lot is right as Vince is circulating right now. That is the name, but Rolex is one of their main vendors, and they have control based upon their agreement to sell merchandise within the store. So they have a lot of control within their it's basically like a lease within a lease. So being that they have the rights to say Rolex has the rights to how they promote their brand, if you will. And that's why the Rolex is on the side, and that's a requirement of carrying Rolex products. It's very, 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 as Peter knows, very stringent to carry Rolex products. They're obviously very high end.
So on the east elevation, it's not going to say Reed's at all. It's just going to say Rolex.
No, it's just going to say Rolex. That's correct.
So this is new because it's usually just the company. Is this a variance request, or is this something?
No, it wouldn't be a variance request because we're not going over. If you look at the lineal signage on this, we're nowhere near over the signage.
No, I'm referring to the fact that we've in the code it allows for the company's name, and this is different. But I'm going to defer to Jamie.
Well, listen, this is something I think also that we'll be facing over on the ski company building, which is if they have a Rosignol on one of their signages and one of their facades, although that's different because I think they don't have the square footage. But if they
Right.
did, are we going to allow that? Let's say it all fits in the square footage. Usually it's the name of the tenant. This is a little, it's a little unusual. And I think it's an interpretation issue we'll have to talk about.
And one of the things could be, it is an interpretation issue, I agree with you, but they are the tenant. So they're a tenant within the tenant. So basically it's almost.
I understand. Okay. Yeah, I hear you. I understand that. Okay. All right. So we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
But you're not looking for a variance on square footage, correct?
No, not at all. Not at all. And to easily explain it, we could submit for the signage application as two tenants sharing the same space. It'd almost be like a food court in a sense that, you know what I mean? Like you'd have a space that you'd have two tenants.
Yep. I understand that. That is a different, and yes, if you can submit that would be helpful to us because we have to, again, be consistent on our interpretations.
And they actually are, because you know, like Roz, I'm not sure how the ski company does it. Like they just have it intermixed. Rolex actually has a square footprint of just their product. So it is really a tenant.
It's unusual, but I think it's a precedent that could be kept with other brands in the future. But that's a Jamie call.
Yeah, no, I understand it because it really is a subtenant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
and one of the things that's key with us coming in front of you and why we were pushing it is, I know it's been a long time since, you know, and that was mostly, it was all Rolex, not really Reed's. Reed's wanted to go forward, but they want to go through as quickly as possible because they want to start working on this building. If they could start working on it January 2nd, they would. So they really want to get this in. They literally want to have this, you know, basically done by spring.
I'm having trouble. It's been so long. Where do we stand, Jamie? Do you recall?
Well,
with the approval process?
I really have to go back, but
it's like it feels like 6 months, Ray, but help us out here.
I think
we already approved it.
Yeah,
it's already approved. It's 100%
approved.
This is an amendment.
Those were the conditions, like making the clock tower an actual clock. I remember all of that stuff was conditional with the approval. This is just modifying, removing the clock tower, changing the elevation in general. And essentially a reapproval of what we'd already looked at. Reed's is the only thing that's changed. Everything outside of Reed's remains the same, correct?
That is correct. That is correct.
So the Nichiha panel that you have on there, that wasn't the same material finish as the previous one, was it?
No. There was some of the Nichiha is basically, it's a very similar panel, if you will. It's actually a panel system rather than just putting stucco on. So it's not EFIS. We were showing EFIS before that. We got rid of all the EFIS. We were showing EFIS up high on the cornice, and now we're using AZAC, which you know is a better material than obviously EFIS. And the Nichiha, we use this all the time on commercial applications. It's actually a lot more expensive, but it's a panelized system. So, and I'm sure you're familiar with it. It's just.
My question, Rand, what we do typically ask for are wall sections.
Yes, and I will have those for you. Obviously, this is the work session for the actual approval. They're working on the whole thing. They're working on a permit set actually right now.
Right, and what I'm actually going for is you show the panels all the way down to grade right now.
Correct.
Nichiha typically doesn't want their panels touching grade.
Yeah, there will be a small gap at the bottom, but we've done Nichiha right to it. Old Nichiha, you're right, but the new Nichiha material, they have all different kinds of finishes on them that could go right down to grade.
Right. Yeah, just show the products. I think
I could do that.
My concern is you're losing 6 inches off the bottom of that, and what's that going to look like, and how does that translate? Because the grade does drop as you go around to the east, and what does that look like around the east? Moving left to right on your bottom elevation there, the grade drops away, if I recall correctly.
It's pretty, actually, the grade on that building is pretty straight across. I think, do you have photos of that?
Yeah, it drops away from front to back, not from side to side.
Yeah, not from side, not
Yeah.
on the side. It's
No,
more
I'm saying,
towards,
like, on your bottom elevation from the left to the right, doesn't it drop as it kind of goes down?
yes,
towards-
you're correct, from the left to right. I thought, it would be right at that corner a little bit, but it's not a dramatic drop. It's a drop right after it. Right after it, it's a steep slope, but
Okay.
you got
Yeah,
about 10 feet.
I do want to understand kind of what's going on, what that's gonna look like around the building. Because I see
Absolutely.
the patterning that you have there, but you know, where that wall panel ends and how it interacts with the ground.
Yeah,
That's
so if
helpful.
you look at this corner, it's really didn't drop that much. It's right after it drops. I know this rendering isn't exactly accurate because it shows, I mean, right here, you know, there's power lines over there and stuff like that from the actual photo, but it's relatively, it's not a huge drop as far as an elevation for the actual facade, if you will. There's a huge drop right after the building, without a question. But we could definitely show that in the wall sections. That's not a problem.
Yeah, and then those are not fabric, those are metal awnings, correct?
That is correct.
Okay.
What is
Nathan,
the,
what else do you want to, do you need to give them a go ahead on the revise
Sorry, Peter, what?
architecture?
And
What do you
can
need now
actually-
to
you
go
can see
forward?
right at the bottom, you see that little shadow line? I think that's what they're representing right now, and we'll show that in the wall section. You see that little lip?
Yeah.
And like, it's almost looks like a concrete curb in a sense.
Yeah, it looks sort of like it still looks like a panel. It's hard to tell.
Yeah, I think it's right, what they're trying to represent is right down here, but I will get clarification on that.
Yeah,
It's
I
like a
think it's
little lip,
always
very little.
that interesting transition, certainly with the energy code, how you get your continuous insulation line all the way through,
Sure.
how you deal with the transitions between the wall and the grade, you know, all of those things need to be considered. I think Doug had a question.
what is the gold material on the crown?
That, I believe, is a metal screening, Doug, and I'll get clarification that on the wall section.
Thank you.
Nathan,
But
what,
it is meant to be like a little screening element.
So I mean, in general, I'm okay with the updates. I actually appreciate it more than the tower.
yeah, me too.
So I think we need to see those final materials.
That's, yep. And we will definitely have the material samples for the meeting, without a question.
And this is an updated approval to a previous.
Yeah, so we
submission.
should do this electronically with the board.
Is that possible?
I guess that's what I'm questioning. Can we do this?
So
offline?
I just looked at the resolution, and it did say that the clock tower treatment needed to be modified and that it was planning board approval.
But
So
Jamie,
this
the
is
question
the
is,
modification. In the past, we have, if we deem this to be, you know, and everybody's on board, we could send that around, Nathan, to the board members for final, go ahead.
Well, it needs a vote, because
Yeah,
that's
no,
what
okay.
like, it needs a vote at a meeting for this last treatment. Right now, he's approved. So if he wants to start digging and, et cetera, and then come into the next meeting, if this is all set.
That's where I was going, is the fact that this is an updated approval.
Correct.
There is already a green light for you to start work on that project.
Correct.
Yeah.
And if we get the materials, have ample time to review the details, the wall sections, the materials, etc., then we can get you approved and do it correctly as part of the first meeting in January. Now, I know you said January 2nd you wanted to get started, but you already have the green light to get started.
Okay, okay, that's excellent. I want that clarification. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
No, that was my feeling, and then you can do the final approval
Mhm.
at a actual meeting.
When does
That would be
everything
awesome.
need to be submitted by? Was that the 21st? That was mentioned before?
Yeah.
Everything needs to be in, okay.
You just said, Vince, it was, January 21st?
No,
No,
it's
December 21st.
December 21st for submission of your wall cuts.
Okay. But which meeting would that be? That would be,
The second Thursday in January.
okay, second Thursday. Would we go back for another one of these meetings before the Tuesday
No.
before?
I don't think that's
No.
necessary.
No, that would be great. That would be fantastic. I totally appreciate
Yeah,
that.
so just get all the updated materials to us. And then when you come in for that first meeting in January, bring your samples. And show the board, and then we can just do a final approval, a modified approval at that point.
Okay. That sounds great. No, I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
I think this is a significant improvement over what you had.
I totally agree. I think it was a little too busy myself. It was.
Well, I just thought it was
more.
lopsided with the clock tower.
You're right. This is much more cohesive, Peter. It's like it was before. Before it was nice, but it was like more drawing attention to Reeds and Rolex, and everything else was a subtenant. And now it's kind of like it's all pulled together.
Well, it also, if you look at Wegmans and then you look at what's going to happen at the Track and Racket and all the way down the line, you have a lot more symmetry. And to me, aesthetically, it's a really nice run there from an architectural standpoint. Well done.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Appreciate your input.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you, everyone. Sorry, I was
Anything
a little
else?
late on there. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Nathan, you got anything else?
I don't believe so.
Okay. Angela, thanks for filling in on short notice. That was
Yeah.
really nice of you.
Not a problem.
All right, see everyone Thursday.
Have a good one, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, see you Thursday. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.